Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the live. Hi, Miss Doug Lover. How are you? Anyways, so they're going to be having a press conference on Danelo Cavalcante, and I've been following that one really close, especially the last few days of this one. So up in front of you right there, just so you guys know, it's kind of like, this is where like the map is. I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger here. Basically of the road closures and where they're trying to, like, if they believe that he's still in that kind of perimeter, then hopefully, I thought that they were going to get him yesterday. There was a spotting at like 7:22. And yeah, so hopefully today, because it's been since August 31st that, of course, he escaped from jail. And I just put out a video. Now, I put allegedly, chances are it's going to be true, that he escaped the same way as the guy Igor did back in May of 2023 here, which was he was in an exercising facility of the prison there of Chester County. Then he climbed up to a roof. Then he went over to the less secure part of a roof, in a sense, and then, basically out he went. So that happened, like I said, again, in May. So at this point, we have to say allegedly, because they haven't like officially said that that's how he escaped. But then I heard something as well about that in his cell, he had like a map from the prison to the courthouse. And so Nick on Twitter, he's been doing a ton of lives, and most people are using his feed, to be honest with you, including myself, to sit there and show what's kind of happening, because he's kind of definitely like boots on the ground, and he's been covering the case. I believe it's him and his friend Matt or whatever. What are the underground tunnels they are talking about, and so many escape routes? So Boston, I don't know if you're talking about that because you've seen it on Grizzly 2 Crime, or if you've seen it in the media, because I haven't actually seen that yet. I was making a video, so I haven't actually looked at that part yet. But we'll listen to the press conference here, and then we'll go over some of the different articles and stuff like that are going out. So like I said, I just did a video that's 10 minutes long, which kind of gives you like the synopsis of the whole of who that Danelo is, and basically kind of like the storyline up until now. So not sure about the tunnel part yet. Yeah, thank you. But anyway, so I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna see on Twitter here for a minute. The press conference is in like 19 minutes, and we'll go to the Facebook there for the Chester County and watch that. And so let's go. So let me just get out of this part here, and we're just gonna play. Wait, latest. What does it say? Authorities believe that Danelo climbed on the prison roof to escape. Another inmate. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. Yeah. See, this. So this is the thing is that um so I had saw this post because uh what it was that I was actually on JLR's and I was looking at the comments, and I don't usually do that. And then someone was talking about how in the news about the same thing that happened in May about the roof. So I went and checked it myself. Now, at the time, there was only one um, article that said, and it was the Philly Inquirer news in Philadelphia. And so that's exactly the article that I was working off of. And it was talking exactly about this. Now, like I said, I think I was like one of the first ones to even put this out because I put it on my TikTok first and I put it on Twitter. And then, of course, people are going, is this actual fact? And I'm just like, well, no, so I changed it to allegedly because in the video it didn't really say allegedly. It just basically said this is how he escaped because I know it's going to come to fruition that that's going to be true anyway. But anyways, so for me it was just a matter of time before the other media sources, like as you see CNN, and all the other newsletters are going to feed off of, again, the articles, because that's exactly what they do. Sometimes when you go to the different media sources, you'll see that it's pretty much verbatim, word for word, and it's just because they're feeding off of each other's media um topics, discussions, and what are the titles and everything like that. Um so that is just news, seeing that right there, because it wasn't there a minute ago. Now, hold on. Let me just go over to Nick because let's see. Let's see. When was this one? So let me just quickly. Okay, so go over there. So is he live again? Oh, that okay. Chopper overhead 13 minutes ago at Pocubson and Britain's Bridge. Okay, so that's yeah. And yesterday, like it was blasting. But anyways, let me play this from Twitter off of Nick's. No, I want to play
Britain's
that.
Bridge.
Hold on. But I want to make it bigger. And I don't know. Was there much sound to this?
All right, guys, I just have a quick update.
Okay.
I'm back in the area. I'm gonna wait for a few more of you guys to come on before I say much, just so we don't have to do it twice.
I know that Grizzly True Crime got tons of people in her thing, and
Give
I
it a
know
couple
that
minutes.
Ickmel as well is on. So whatever.
You guys can hear there's a helicopter, as you can see, and I'll explain where I am in a minute and the relevance to this location. That is a I'm not sure if it's a news helicopter or a police helicopter. If anybody has flight radar on, you guys can check. We're on Pocopson and Britain's Bridge. You should see the helicopter any second. There it is, guys. That's ABC. Okay, cool. So, as I said earlier, I'm going to be running to the press conference in a little bit. So, I'm just here for about 5 minutes. Um, so, here are some updates that I have for you guys from the past 20 minutes. So, let me show you guys the helicopter heading this way. So, from what I'm hearing, and this is from a law enforcement source, dogs track off of disturbed ground. The problem is there's so many people clearing areas looking for him that the dog can't get a track because all the officers are contaminating the area. Again, so I'm going to read that part again. So it looks like the canines cannot get a track because officers are contaminating the area. The only dogs that can track off of scent are bloodhounds. We put 30 trail cameras in the woods yesterday. That's from, again, I'm just reading from a law enforcement source. So, yesterday they put 30 trail cams in the woods, and we are about to place 30 more. So, the law enforcement source says this guy is not stupid by any means. He lived in the rainforest of Brazil his whole life. He was also a farmer, so he knows how to live off the land. So, this specific source has already hit over 70 hours of overtime in the last week, and he's pretty much been living in the woods. Um, so, at this point, there's not much word on a fresh track of the guy, but the canines are unable to pick up a scent because of the amount of officers in the area. So, as I just said, there were also 30 trail cameras, hunting cameras, put in the woods in the last 6 or 7 days. Now today they're putting 30 more just today. So they do believe he is still in the area, the vicinity, somewhat near the perimeter, if not in the perimeter, at least in the immediate outskirts. And you guys can see the news helicopter hovering low. And it could be that they're assisting law enforcement. Like I said before, that does happen from time to time where the news will come and help law enforcement with a search and provide their resources. So I did see earlier that a dispatch came through that the accused murderer might have, or the convicted murderer might have gotten into a dark green car headed toward Delaware. Now, I have a lot of residents texting me from Delaware that live near the border. They're on the lookout, and nothing is confirmed as of yet. We're not even sure if that's a confirmed sighting or any of that. But as I said, I'm going to go to the press conference and I'm going to ask the police, the state police, about the miscommunication and the lack of communication with all of the agencies. Is there an established line of communication where all officers working this manhunt have access to? That's going to be my first question. And then I'm going to ask about the map, about a map that was found in his cell, a hand drawn map leading from the prison to the courthouse. So that is a very interesting map, and it adds to the escape plan. Maybe he was avoiding going toward Westchester. And where we are right now, guys, we're in Pocopson and Brenton's Bridge Road. I'll show you the intersection. And on our way here on Pocopson, about a mile behind us, there were three unmarked vehicles. I believe it could be federal agents, given the uniform or the vests. It was an unmarked Suburban with two pickup trucks, and they pulled off to the side of the road by the woods. And from we just kept going to get to here because we have to go to the press conference in a little bit. But that was just a quick update, guys. Other than that, I have nothing else. I read you guys a little text from a law enforcement source about what they're doing and how they are expanding the search and using more cameras.
Okay, so let's see here. Let's go back off of this, make it smaller, and let's just quickly watch this one. I mean, that's just a helicopter. Do that again. Oops, I'm gonna stop that now. Okay, let's see, Miss Dog Lovers. Hello, Miss Dog Lover. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, 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 good. Have you been following this case at all?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's baffling. So how he's managing to evade so many people on the ground there.
Yeah, like on September 2nd, an officer saw him, but and they thought that they had this airtight perimeter, but he obviously got through it. And then yesterday there was another a confirmed sighting at 7:22 in the evening, and obviously he broke into this gentleman's home, went in through the French doors, of course, the other day, and that would have holy smokies on that one, eh? He literally goes into the living room.
Scary.
Yeah, well, like I said, so we'll see what the press conference have to say. I don't know anything about tunnels. I kind of googled it while I while the first video was playing. So these underground tunnels, not really seeing, like, at the moment. Let me see. Not really seeing anything about tunnels. I
Well,
know
there
that
must be sewers around there.
there's definitely the drain, the
Yeah.
storm tunnels or whatever, the drain tunnels. Like there's a ton of those, which if that's what they're talking about. Hi, Sharon Parker. How are you? Hey, Kelly. How are you? So I'm just going to hit stop screen there and I'm just going to bring it on. I'm just going to bring it over to the
Yeah.
face.
Hi, everyone in chat. I can't see the chat at the moment, but hello, everyone.
Yeah. So we'll leave it here. In about 8 minutes time, the press conference will happen. So yeah, like, I mean, so the gist of this guy here is, back in 2017 in Brazil, he took the life of somebody there in the city square. And then basically, I think it was he fled off to Puerto Rico. And then he illegally entered into the United States. And then, of course, he took the life of Deborah Brando, in front of her two children, at, and like had stabbed her like 36 or 38 times. And so, yeah, so then he ended up in, of course, Chester County Correctional Facility place, in which, again, he escaped on August 31st. So, and they've been, of course, putting his mom's voice over the helicopter. But I mean, it's kind of one of those things, how some people are like, you're not going to come get me alive, basically. So I think he's kind
Yeah.
of, it depends on how you think of prison. Like some people will take their own life because they don't want to ever, stay in prison. Whereas other people, it's like their secondary home sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like he's got nothing to lose, which is very scary.
Correct. Well, like I said, he fled Brazil, and then, he ended up taking the life there. Then he comes over, here, takes the life. And so, yeah, it just like, I'm honestly amazed. To be honest, I'm honestly amazed that, I can't hold on. Sorry. A little notification came up in Squirrel, you know, uh,
No worries.
I'm just like amazed because like I just don't think that. Well, I'm amazed that they haven't caught him yet. First of all, but it's not like they're not working hard, because he's just like a little 5'0" midget kind of guy.
I can't believe how short he is.
I
Like,
know.
nothing against short people, but like, probably making it easier for him to evade people being so small.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, he's like 120 pounds, 5 foot nothing. And yeah, so, and a lot of people are saying that because he's from Brazil and stuff like that, like he was like like he knows what it's like to be a farmer. So, living off the land and different things. And yeah, like, he's probably one of those, small, short guys that can pack a punch, obviously. But obviously the packing of punches involving using a knife. And I'm not sure what, if it was a knife too in Brazil or not. I just read that they took the life. We'll get into that article later though. But so
Well, it's
yeah,
obviously very incredibly dangerous. So
right.
like, the residents need to stay safe.
Oh, that's what I was gonna, yeah, that's exactly it. So meaning he's not afraid to take a life.
Yeah.
So I'm amazed that he hasn't taken a life at this point, to be honest with you. Like for the gentleman's home that he went in, like the gentleman member flashed the light like 5 times, he said, and then he flashed the lights back down to say, like, hello, yeah,
Hello.
down here.
Oh gosh. No, I don't know, maybe he's trying to be stealth at the moment, isn't he? He doesn't want to draw attention to himself. So if he has got a weapon, like he might have a gun, he might have a knife, but I should imagine he's just trying to stay low and not. Might be hard for him not to create any, like, to murder anyone else. But
Yeah.
sorry, red rum.
Ah,
But yeah,
that's fine. And then sorry, Kelly. I don't believe. I think Walter is a guy's name. So I believe it was a guy. Let's see, like the name was Walter. Oh, it was a tongue twister. I'll tell you. There's nothing worse than when you're trying to read an article and there's all these like Portuguese words that you've never heard before. Look at so many people are live right now because again, it's just when there's a massive manhunt. Everyone's upon it. Everyone's
yeah.
kind of
You've
well,
got people monopolising YouTube at the moment on like
yeah.
2 channels.
Oh yeah, like I just saw Matt go live on his channel. He's out of the UK, Grizzly True Crime, Ikmel. I'm sure JLR is probably live right now as well. So it's okay because
is JLR not on the scene?
No. Okay, I'm not gonna lie though. So I'd gone over to his channel actually just to see, because somebody had made a comment, so I went over to his channel just to see, and he was live watching it. But like literally, I'm like, no offense, but do you want to talk about somebody that was totally leeching, like his whole 2 lives were literally leeching, like from start to finish of Nick's on Twitter's lives, like meaning that was his content, literally Nick's content on both videos, like both lives that he did. And I'm just like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like it was showing Fox 29. Like yesterday when I was live, I was like showing Fox 29, went to Nick's, showing different kind of back and forth and whatever. But I'm sitting there and it's almost like I think people thought that it was him, like holding the phone himself, like by some of the comments. I'm like, you guys can't tell his voice from a totally different random person. But yeah, because I was just kind of amazed that it was like totally his content on both lives through and through. At the time I looked, one had 22K views, the other one had whatever K views, but I mean, whatever. But I just didn't expect to see that the whole entire both videos were.
Well, I think maybe we should send him out to the woods and give him a loudspeaker so he can shout, "Shame on you, Danelo."
He's probably trying to decide, Murda, do I go this way? Do I go to Murda? Do I go that way? But and regardless, like Nick, he's doing such a fabulous job now. In saying that, this press conference should be starting any time here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop off. I've got a delivery coming now, but I can come back on a bit later if that's okay.
Yeah, if I'm still on, just use the same link.
Perfect. All right, thanks, Sunny.
Okay, take care, Miss Dog River.
Bye.
Hi. Okay, so let's see. This should be okay. It's going to be coming on in a second, guys. Here, so we'll just wait for it to pop up here. It's 12 o'clock. Come on now. Live streamed on Facebook. Should be starting anytime here, guys. So we'll just wait for a moment. It's not like I have I don't even know. I wonder how many people. Whoops. Let's not do that. Let's see. Grizzly True Crime. How many people does she have watching her right now? 8.5K is watching Grizz right now. 1 second here. I'm just going to click on hers first. Yeah, she's waiting for it as well. The press conference to start on there. But anyway, so hey Kelly, hey Mustang, hey Streamlabs, Sharon Parker, Boston. Every time I think of see your name, Boston, I want to think of like Boston cream, those Boston cream puffs or whatever. So it's like a little tongue twister. Okay. As long as they don't go, oh, yeah, this is postponed. Hopefully not. Well, let's see what they have to say today to us. You know, press conference, Twitter, broadcasts. I was going to pull this up for a sec. Okay, wait. Why am I seeing? Is it up now? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Of the escape of Danelo Cavalcante. Let me begin by addressing the escape of Igor Bolt, which the media has been reporting on. Igor Bolt, which escaped on May 19th of this year. This escape was similar to the methodology of the escape by Cavalcante, and the escape by Igor Bolt allowed the prison to identify a deficiency in the exterior exercise yard where the escape occurred. This is also the same area, the escape yard, where Cavalcante was located prior to his escape. The exercise yard improvements undertaken after Bolt's escape were intended to address the escape route from the yard to the roof area. Security consultants were brought in, and improvements were based on the consultants' findings by a contracted security service. The improvement consisted of additional razor wire being placed in the yard area at the wall where the escape occurred to block access to the roof. The escape of Cavalcante is not just being internally investigated. Because it is in criminal nature, it is also being investigated by the State Attorney General's office. The video of Cavalcante's escape has been turned over to the criminal investigators. I will review the exact timeline and show a video of Cavalcante's escape from the exercise yard at the end of my remarks, but can confirm that it does show that Cavalcante escaped at the same location as Igor Bolt, but for Cavalcante, there was razor wire to contend with before reaching the roof. Secondly, Chester County Prison uses proven countermeasure security that are an industry standard. For example, high fencing, razor or barbed wire, secure doors or gates with sally ports to control movement, video cameras, and most importantly, correctional officers, all of which were in place and remain in place. One of the issues brought to light as we conduct our internal investigations on Cavalcante's escape is that once the additional razor wire had been added to the escape route following Igor Bolt's escape in May, it was determined by our security advisors that this one level of security was sufficient. In fact, what was perhaps overlooked was the fact that addressing the single point of physical countermeasure should have been bolstered by additional means. We are addressing that. On Tuesday afternoon, yesterday, we had engineers from Trans Systems, a company which was selected by Lancaster County to design their new prison, brought on site. They are developing proposals for the prison board to fully enclose all outside exercise yards. While we believe the security measures we had in place were sufficient, they've proven otherwise, and we move quickly to enhance our security measures. Finally, I'd like to cover the human element of the escape. One key difference in the escape by Igor Bolt as compared with the escape of Cavalcante is the role of the tower officer, whose primary responsibility is to oversee the inmates in the exercise yard. In Bolt's escape, the tower officer observed the subject leaving the yard area and contacted control immediately. That is why Bolt was apprehended within 5 minutes. In the escape of Cavalcante, the tower officer did not observe nor report the escape. The escape was discovered as part of the inmate counts that occurs when inmates come in from the exercise yard. As I previously noted, the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office will be conducting a thorough criminal investigation into the escape, which includes this element of the incident. This investigation is both necessary and welcome. The actions of the tower officer present at the time of Cavalcante's escape are a key part of our internal investigation, and we'll be taking appropriate action against personnel based on the results of that investigation. Here is the timeline of the events. At 8:33 a.m., Cavalcante's block entered the exercise yard. At 8:51 a.m., Cavalcante escapes from the prison, having crab walked up a wall, pushed his way through a razor wire, run across the roof, scale another fence, and push his way through more razor wire. At 9:35 a.m., Cavalcante's block returned to the unit from the yard. At 9:45 a.m., officers on Cavalcante's block notify Central Control of a missing inmate, and they conduct a special count. At 9:48 a.m., officers informed Central Control that Cavalcante was not there. There was a belief that he may have been in a phone visiting room, which was checked with negative results. At 9:50 a.m., the prison was locked down and the special count was conducted. By 10:01 a.m., the public escape siren had sounded and the 911 center had been notified. Just as we do in any security-related incident, we will thoroughly review all of our practices, policies, and procedures and make improvements as appropriate. We are currently formulating plans to enhance security to include, as previously mentioned, fully enclosing all outside exercise yards, installing additional security cameras, adjusting officers' positions when inmates are in exercise yards, and additional security assets which would enhance overall security of the prison. As I close, I would definitely like to thank my local, federal, state, and law enforcement representatives who quickly responded to the scene once the escape was there. I know they have been diligently working to take Mr. Cavalcante back into custody, and we are very appreciative of their efforts. At this time, due to the nature of the investigations that are ongoing, I cannot comment on any individual investigation, including the internal investigations. With that, I'd like to turn it over back to Colonel Bivens. So, I'm not sure where.
The video before. Thank you, Warden Holland. I'll go on with my update, and again, we'll come back to questions momentarily. Last evening, we had another sighting of Cavalcante by a resident in the area of Chandler Road, Pennsbury Township. Teams searched the area for hours, but were unable to locate him. An issue we did experience during that search illustrates some of the challenges our people are dealing with. In spite of precautions, one of our tactical search dogs suffered a heat-related and emergency and remains hospitalized today. We are hopeful that he will eventually make a full recovery. As a result of that reported sighting, residents likely observed a significant increase in police activity. We did have a reverse 911 message sent out during the incident in an effort to inform residents of the issue. Additionally, as a result of that activity, we slightly expanded the eastern edge of our perimeter to include Creek Road. The district attorney and I have continued a regular dialogue with school districts in the area, updating them with changes in our operations that might impact schools. As this operation unfolded late last night, the Unionville, Chadds Ford, and Kennett Consolidated School Districts made a decision to close schools. We continue to use hundreds of state, local, and federal law enforcement officers, canines, aviation assets, and various types of technology in an effort to keep the community safe and to bring this to as swift of a conclusion as possible. Excuse me. We continue to increase the number of personnel assigned as conditions dictate. Residents can expect to continue to see large numbers of law enforcement officers in their communities and traveling to and from assigned locations. We continue to ask for the public's help by familiarizing themselves with the photograph and description of Cavalcante, to check security cameras they have, and to call us immediately if they believe they may have seen Cavalcante. Again, we ask residents to please secure homes, outbuildings, and vehicles. Cavalcante has clearly already obtained some clothing and unknown other supplies, and we want to minimize any opportunity to obtain anything more. It is important that we keep pressure on him as we continue the hunt. I am also announcing that Pennsylvania Crime Stoppers has offered up to a $10,000 reward for information leading to the capture of Cavalcante. This brings the reward total to $20,000. Anyone with information is asked to call our tip line at 717-562-2987, 717-562-2987. Lastly, I want to recognize and thank the community for all of their support through this trying time in their lives. I and all of us working this manhunt understand the tremendous stress this puts on families and even businesses. In spite of that stress and unsolicited, we have had individuals, businesses, scouting, church, and other organizations show up at our command post with cases of water, food, and well wishes for all of our people. They are very kind, and I can't thank them enough for their support. And now we will be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Lieutenant Colonel, do you think he has more ability to hide from you than you thought he did when this thing started, since it's 7 days now?
No, I don't think he has any more ability than we initially gave him credit for. I think that it's a very challenging area. I think we've had a number of these types of searches in the past. Some take hours, some take days, some take weeks, and some take months. We're committed to the search, and we will find him. We will bring him back and into the criminal justice
But
system.
the DA or the acting warden, you guys have access to this video. You saw this. Why did it take so long to alert the public of how he escaped?
You said this for the warden?
DA or the acting warden?
Well, I can address that. That matter was referred to the Attorney General's office immediately. We are engaged in a thorough investigation. As I've stated before, our main focus is bringing this man to custody. We were putting all of our efforts to try to locate him. There was a simultaneous investigation into the prison escape. And today was the day that we believed we needed to bring in the acting warden to address the public about how he escaped.
But you knew
Is
ahead of
the
time, you
Attorney
still
General's
didn't want to release that information to the
Is the
public.
Attorney General's investigation supplanting the Chester County District Detective's investigation?
That's correct.
How
He
it
was
possible
insane
that
risk.
this person was able to take the same escape route as someone just months previous, and really nothing was done to prevent that? Obviously, someone didn't do their job in instituting those measures.
So as I said earlier, according to the document, we did have a consulting firm come out, identify how that individual escaped, and we thought we took appropriate measures to prevent that with the razor wire. Again, the one thing we didn't take into account was a failure on the human element side. We only focused on the physical infrastructure and not necessarily human element.
So was there
So
nobody
did the guard
in the,
fail?
was there
It's
nobody
not
in
true.
the tower? Was there no one in the tower? Is that why you didn't get the call, or was he asleep?
Someone was in the tower at the time.
Should he have seen this? Should the person in the tower have seen him leave?
The position of the towers are for observation posts, which overlook the yards.
Lieutenant Colonel Bivens, sir, does he have?
Just 1 minute.
I'm hearing from state police, local law enforcement, and marshals that you guys have multiple channels. Last night I witnessed this. There was an officer from Kennett Square. There was activity. That officer didn't hear anything. He asked the trooper what's going on. They said, we're on a different channel. He was left in the dark. And I'm hearing now from, it was at least 12 officers in the past 6 days that told me they are not able to communicate in concert with you guys. Are there multiple channels that you guys are operating?
No, I would have to look into that specific concern, and I'd be happy to do that. Maybe we can talk afterward and you can supply me a name that we can look into it. What I would tell you is that we've spent a lot of time and effort making sure that we do have solid communications. We've got a lot of agencies working there. Most have representation in our command post, and we would know immediately if we had a communication issue. So if there is something that's isolated to a certain agency or something, we certainly want to take a look at that. But that's not a widespread concern.
Has he obtained a weapon? And if so, what kind of weapon do you think he has?
We have not determined that he has obtained a weapon.
When was the consultant brought in? And what was the name of the consultant again?
So I don't have the exact date nor name of the consulting firm.
Why?
I can get that for you. Because
Lieutenant Colonel Bivens, is any infrared or heat-seeking device used to track them at least at night?
There are a number of types of technology. I think it's certainly reasonable to believe something like that would be included in the array of technology that we would bring to bear.
Hold on. In the Igor Boat case, the inmates were distracting the guard. There was a fight on the basketball court is what the criminal complaint says. In this case too, we have heard that there was also some sort of group of inmates or a line of inmates on that yard. Is that obstructing, or is it just that the inmates also figured out how to do this as well? So what is being taken to address that concern that you have an inmate standing there in that video? Is that guy a lookout? Are they all talking about how to do this? What are you doing there on the human side with the inmates to make sure nobody tries this again?
So as I said, for the investigation of how or why this occurred, including the investigation and questioning of the inmates that were there, that's done by the Attorney General's office. So I don't have the exact answer. Moreover, as we develop information into this, we are certainly going to look at what the actions of that tower officer were, why he didn't observe what was occurring in that yard. I'm not sure as to how or why he didn't address it at this point.
Why not share that video early on if you knew how he escaped? That's the question that everyone had.
Again, as part of the investigation. Certainly, I'm sorry. As part of the investigation, that would have been up to the Attorney General's office to release that and when it was to be released. At this point, we thought it was prudent and had permission to release it.
Is the tower still engineer, is he suspended? Is he still working?
He is on administrative leave.
This is for the district attorney or the warden. Can you confirm or deny that the escapee had a map of the area that was hand-drawn detailing the route from the prison to the Chester County Courthouse? Is that anything or is that?
No, I have no evidence to suggest they had a map of the area.
I did not.
This individual was listed as an escape risk. This was known that he was looking to do something like this prior. Why was he, and also, he's here on a murder charge, he's being held here waiting to be sent to state prison. He knows he's wanted in Brazil. Why is he roaming around the yard like this and not in a more secure location? And is that something you'll do as the administrator of the prison later, is to reevaluate how high-risk offenders have free access around the prison?
So to answer your question, we will certainly evaluate how we're handling inmates of that level, especially murder suspects. But we also have to understand that these individuals have certain rights. So it's not a question of would we let him out again. It's certainly a question of would I put him back out there with a group of other individuals, or there would be a one-on-one, and it would be a one-on-one from this point out.
Do you believe the Brandywine Creek is a possible escape route? Do you believe the Brandywine Creek is a possible escape route? Officers are monitoring it on Route 1.
I would say that we are open to anything being a possibility as far as an escape route, and we're actively working to keep that area secure. I wouldn't comment on the viability of one versus another escape route.
Do you think he's out of your perimeter? Is
I
there
do
a
not.
chance he's flipped your perimeter?
I do not.
What makes you believe that?
Everything that I'm able to see, the various sightings that we've had, other aspects of this investigation lead me to believe that he is still there in that area. Sure. So on the northern end, Route 921, on the east.
921 or 926?
I'm sorry, 926. On the eastern side, 100 or Creek Road. On the southern side, Hillendale. And on the western side, 52.
How big is this compared to
And-
what your perimeter was in days past?
What square mileage is it?
Offhand, I don't know what the square mileage is. It is slightly larger than the perimeter that we had in the past. Quite frankly, it was enlarged for two reasons. One, because of one of the sightings, and two, because we are also very cognizant of inconveniencing the public. Quite frankly, we probably could have kept that southern perimeter a little further north, but we probably would have interfered with traffic on Route 1 and would have caused even more headaches for local residents and those passing through as well. And so we took the option that we believe is equally secure and yet doesn't inconvenience residents nearly as much.
Cavalcante was in custody since 2021. He would have been in jail at the same time as Igor Bolt. Is there any indication that the two of them had any contact?
We have no information at this time connecting that, but again, that is not up for me to determine. It's up to the Attorney General's office on the investigation.
Would you have chosen to share this information today had the similarities between Igor Bolt's release not been made public?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Would you have chosen to share the details of Cavalcante's escape and the similarities to Igor's had the information not come to light yesterday?
So I don't really think it's a decision of me releasing. I think it was appropriate with the coordination of the Attorney General's office to release it when they deemed appropriate. So that's why we're here.
Lieutenant Colonel, is lethal force authorized only in the perimeter or is it authorized statewide in the next state if he does not surrender clearly to?
I have no authority in the next state. I have authority in Pennsylvania with the Pennsylvania State
Is
Police.
it statewide lethal force if he's seen anywhere in the state or is it around?
No, the directive pertains to this particular search.
And the backpack, or the sighting today that was reported, I believe, by approximately 9, where he might have been getting into a dark green car, did that come to any fruition or is that?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question.
There was a dispatch this morning that said that an individual with a backpack matching the description, the escapee got into a dark green car.
No, that was not related to this.
Warden Holland, is the photo of Mr. Cavalcante that we see here, was that taken just before the escape?
I believe it was, yes, sir.
Are you getting a lot of sightings throughout the region outside the perimeter, other parts of Chester County, other counties where people are thinking that they're seeing him? And what kind of stress does that put on your resources?
We are not getting a lot of sightings outside of the perimeter. In fact, very few. They are being fully investigated. Nothing has led me to believe that any of them were actually him. And we have the ability to do this operation and follow up outside of the area as well.
Any idea where he thinks he might be trying to get to?
I do have some ideas of where he thinks he might be trying to get to, but I'm not prepared to discuss
You said
that.
last week that he's trying to head south.
In the area?
You said last week you think he's trying to head south, maybe to Mexico or Brazil. Do you still believe?
I believe he's trying to head south. In terms of his final destination, again, I'm not prepared to discuss
Are
that.
family members cooperating, or has it been determined that they may have aided?
We're not going to discuss any parts of the investigation involving the family.
Just wanted to ask about to take it back to the escape. Could you give an approximate width from one wall to the next?
So I would say approximately maybe 5 feet, maybe less.
Acting Ward, you said you're looking to fully enclose the yard.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean that there's not a fence around it already? Can you explain?
So the yards are block wall with an exterior fence with an open top. Along that line are razor wires so someone physically can't climb the fence. Moreover, there's a smaller mesh fence on the second half, so the fence is probably 10 to 15 feet high. What the proposal is actually to cap that whole thing in basically like as a cage so no one can physically climb out.
All the way from the fence to the building.
All the way and all 8 yards that we have.
You reviewing any other video that shows him practicing this? I mean, did he just boldly do this on a whim, figuring out that he could go up this wall?
So we have no supportive evidence as far as video that shows him trying to do this, no other inference of him attempting it from any other inmate.
Which yard is this? Is this yard A, yard B, yard C? You said 8 yards.
So this is C yard.
You talked about the control tower and there being a guard in there that did not observe the escape. Is there any corrections officer that is physically present with the inmates when they're in that recreation area? And if not, why not?
So there's physically no correctional officer in with the inmates. For the observation tower, is to observe the inmates, one, obviously, for any type of injury, any type of fight that's gone away, and any escape attempt.
Why wouldn't there be someone just outside there, not inside?
So typically, the other thing we have is a video monitor in that area. So we don't put 2 staff in there. As part of the upgraded system that we're putting in, we are putting additional personnel, not only in the tower, but on the ground to observe anybody in the yard.
Assistant Warden, was nobody monitoring this camera that you showed us that had the video of him crab walking up?
So we have approximately 160 cameras at any one time that's monitored all over the facility, also inside to control door movements to see who's coming and going. So with the time it took him to go up, and we all saw the video, it wasn't very long. So in that instance, if it wasn't observed and the camera didn't pick it up because either we weren't focused on that or we were focused on other things, it's feasible that, we didn't see it because we just weren't focused on it. There were no posts that were vacant that day.
Lieutenant Colonel, you've said that you think he's heading south, Lieutenant Colonel, but you've also said you do have an idea where you think he's heading, but you won't tell us that. But you do believe he's heading south. So you believe that he has more specific goals in mind that are closer to this location that he might be heading?
Yes, my reference to heading south is more so in our area that we're searching. What his final destination and the pathway to get there, I have some ideas, but again, I'm not prepared to share those at this point.
But is he going east? I mean, he went from Longwood Gardens now to Chandler Road. That's east, not south.
Yes.
So why do you think he's going south?
Again, I'm not going to theorize or share theories in here, but yes, there was one sighting east.
Can you tell us more about the sighting? What was he doing? What did it look like?
And who spotted?
It was a resident of the area that observed him in a creek bed near the rear of their property and called us. He was already traveling into the woods when that individual called us.
Does he have family or friends in this area?
He has some family and some associates and in the general area.
Is there anything to indicate?
Again, I'm not going to.
Is there anything that he's lost?
I guess we'll know that when we find him and interview him for sure. I do suspect he's probably having trouble
Have you
navigating.
discovered any items he may have used?
We have not recovered anything from him out in the field. We have discovered through the photograph that you saw that, you know, he has a backpack, a duffel bag, and a hoodie, but we have not recovered any of those items.
Any
There were
indication he has a
items
phone?
yesterday- there were items found yesterday by some troopers, any relation to him or anybody else that was out there, the wallet, phone, anything like that?
Items that have been recovered are being tested, but I don't have anything to confirm that any item we have discovered.
Can you tell us
is
what the
related.
search actually looks like? Are you literally beating bushes? Is it mostly electronic? Is it driving? Are you putting up cameras? What does this look like?
Well, again, I'm not going to describe every step of it because in the event that he does have access to media, I certainly won't want to disclose all of that. I would tell you it's some of all of the above. It is a very intensive search involving hundreds of law enforcement officers, involving state-of-the-art technology, but we are not sitting in a room someplace waiting for technology to solve this. In my experience, it'll be solved one of a number of ways. And so you've got to approach it with the physical searches. And so when I mentioned about the dog going down last night, that's because our people are out there, hundreds of them last night, pushing through the woods, holding perimeters, checking on possible sightings. But it's very hot, humid weather, and they are working in that around the clock in order to keep the pressure on. That's part of that side of it. At the same time, there is a strong use of technology of a variety of types to allow us to try and capture him that way, should we not be successful in finding him through the physical search.
The canine officer, what department is the canine officer from?
State Police.
When you play his mother's message, what does it say?
I'm paraphrasing, but it's asking him to surrender. She doesn't want to see any harm come to him, and she wants him to come out peacefully and surrender to the police.
Is it always the same message?
Yes.
Residents are,
No, we don't have her approval to do that.
residents are wondering, at any point, will you slow down the, back off of the man? Whether it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, will you keep a large presence, an active manhunt with the manpower you have until he's captured?
We are not going anyplace until we have him in custody. We will continue the
The
manhunt.
city festival planned this weekend in Kennett Square. Are you in conversations with organizers in case he's not caught by then?
Yes, we are aware of that. We're in contact with emergency management, law enforcement authorities to make sure that we don't have any additional concerns there. And at this point, there's no reason to believe that that festival would be impacted by this search.
Is there any indication that he's had a phone or any communication device has or had at any point during this?
I'm not prepared to discuss that aspect at this point.
Question for the board, please. Did Cavalcante have any sort of disciplinary record, any infractions that you can share with us while an inmate at the prison?
To be honest with you, not that I'm aware of. Like as I walked into this thing 18 hours onto the job, I haven't gathered all his back history. I had the deputy warden put that all together and get it ready for the detectives to look at.
Was he living legally here and was he working before he killed his ex-girlfriend?
He was not legally here, and I can't answer the working part.
Lieutenant Colonel, you think you're wearing him down in any way? There is at least this conversation out there that because he's sort of emanating from Brazil, that maybe he is comfortable in hot settings, that he's comfortable in this kind of environment. Do you have any sense you're wearing him down? He seems like he's pretty elusive here.
I'm quite confident that we're wearing him down, regardless of the location, the background that a person comes from. These are hot, humid temperatures. He's not living in shelter, has no regular means of obtaining food other than if he's able to break in someplace or find something, scavenge something. So it's a difficult existence out there for somebody that's trying to do this. That will definitely take its toll. I would also add that, it's hard enough, as one of the law enforcement officers out there, it's hard enough for them navigating in this terrain, in this hot, humid weather. But imagine if you're being hunted. It adds a whole different level of stress as opposed to you're out there trying to find somebody. That level of stress has to be wearing on him.
Have you searched local railroads, railroad tracks, trains passing through? There's some video that indicates you have been
Yes.
doing that. If so, what has that yielded? Anything?
It has not, but what we are attempting to do again is keep that secure perimeter and ensure that he does not have an opportunity to escape on a train.
Given the condition of the canine, does he face charges in connection to the?
No, there was no mishandling of the dog. They were monitoring the dog's temperature and they realized it started to elevate. Unfortunately, and they sought medical treatment for the dog immediately. Unfortunately, the dog's condition continued to worsen even with medical treatment until he was eventually stabilized. And now I'm told is doing somewhat better. We'll have to wait and see what the final outcome is.
How many reports of thefts or break-ins you've had since this day?
We have had a number. I'm not going to put a number on it, but a small number of break-ins reported. I cannot specifically attribute any of those to him.
Does Cavalcante have any history of survivalism, or do you know that he has any specific skills related to his current status? Like he's out there?
He's not had any formal training. I am aware that, again, coming from Brazil, that some of his practices, he did go out quite a bit into the woods and things down there. So has some experience navigating and lasting in the woods, but not any serious formal training.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like since the escape, there have been several sightings. Out of all the hundreds of officers that you have out there looking for him now, he's only been spotted by a law enforcement officer one time. The one time he was seen and the officer gave chase. Is that accurate?
I would have to go back and review it. That's probably accurate. I off the top of my head, I'm not. I'd have to look at each one of the sightings, but I believe that's probably accurate.
Apologies if this was asked already, but is there any indication he's receiving help from anyone?
Again, as part of the investigation, we're not going to disclose that, but that is something that we are constantly looking at. Even if he hadn't received it to this point, there's always a concern that he will start to receive it. And so that's something we're constantly
I
looking
know
at.
you said the search perimeter in terms of roads, I'm just not familiar with the township lines. Do we think that that's Bradford, or is Brandywine there, that all encompassed in that township area, or is it all Carlson Township?
No, it's moved over into, is that Pennsbury? Yeah.
Pennsbury?
Yes.
Has a decision been made or advised schools about tomorrow and Friday yet?
We will be having a discussion with the superintendents, I'm sure, at some point yet today. That has not occurred. What I would tell you is that those discussions are intended to give the superintendents as much information as possible so that they can make an informed decision. At some point, that information also changes, as it did last night, and that necessitated another call. So, we'll provide them an update, and then we will give them anything else that may develop.
Question for the warden: when somebody's sentenced to life in prison, are they treated differently than other people in the facility? Once you've taken everything you can from them, are you more on alert for that person? So I can tell you that they have the same rights as everybody else, but giving this complication what happened, we are certainly going to revisit how we're handling that in the future, as far as one-on-one in the yard versus going out with a bunch of different individuals.
So just so we're clear, acting warden, you're going to be adding an extra officer in the tower to join the one that's already in the observation tower?
No, for a point of clarification, we will have one person in the tower and physically somebody on the ground walking the yard.
Any additional people who are to monitor those video feeds?
So we haven't at this time established who is going to monitor inside specifically video feeds from the yard, but I can tell you we are certainly taking that and revisiting and completely how we're handling all that video visualization to make sure that we're not missing things.
As Deanna mentioned, there was a little bit of commotion that you could see in that video with one of the gentlemen who was shirtless running away from where Cavalcante was climbing up. Do you think that there was a distraction in place at that time to possibly throw off the officer that was in the observation tower?
So I can't comment as to what people were doing or why. I can tell you at that time for recreational activity, there was a basketball net in that area and there was an active basketball game going on. So I'm going to assume at this point that he was involved in that game.
At the time of the escape, how many people were watching
how many monitors are there?
For security reasons, I'm not going to develop how many monitors we have and how many people we have viewing it.
Does Cavalcante speak both English and Spanish? Or
Portuguese and some Spanish, very little English.
Very little English. The next follow-up question is, what percentage of inmates at Chester County Prison speak only Portuguese or Spanish?
I don't have the breakdown of demographics as far as who speaks what language, and because we don't sector them off based on their language or what languages they speak.
Is there a policy on cell phone use when guards are on duty? Are they allowed to have them out? Are they allowed?
There are no cell phones allowed inside the prison area at all.
And as far as we were talking about that dome structure that you guys are planning on, when can we see that actually in place?
So yesterday, we actually met with the contractors. It has been going to be forwarded to the commissioners for their review for possible acquisition and installation.
Was it not obvious that that should have been something in place before?
So I really don't want to get into what should have happened prior to without me actually being in charge of that facility. So I can't really question as to why it was or wasn't there.
Had it come up in security assessments previously?
I'm not sure if that's true or not.
All right, I want to thank you all, and again, we appreciate your help in getting this message out, keeping this front and center with the public. We need their support, and we appreciate your role in bringing that support. Thank you.
Okay, so 1 second here. I'm going to share the screen again. We'll look at that in just a second. Whoops, sorry. Took myself off the screen again. Okay. You guys, they said that somebody was suspended, but I missed who it was that was suspended. Do you guys recall what they said in that? Because the live will re-upload in a bit here, but like meaning it will re-upload back over to the site there in just a little bit. So yeah, I just wasn't sure who they said was suspended, but I heard that. So my video that I put out earlier, so for all you people on Twitter that were questioning it, pieing your face on that one. Just kidding. Because I'd put the head out there and people's like, is this fact? Is this fact? But the article, which we'll look at in just a moment anyways, it said that a source from the prison that wanted anonymity because they weren't supposed to be talking about it. So obviously someone did. And then here it was all in the press conference to that video that I put out this morning. I think I was up at like, you guys, I just remember falling asleep for maybe an hour or so. And then I think I was up at like 2:30 sitting there trying to make a video while my husband was sleeping. Hopefully it wasn't disturbing him. And then next thing I know, it was like 4:30 and whatever. And then I ended up going to sleep at about 7 o'clock. And I was like, yeah, I'll finish the video for YouTube in a bit. So just before I went live here. So check out that video. It's kind of like got my little animation there of him like hopping up on the roof and then chew. But anyways, so okay, so a lot of things, well, I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of things said there for sure. I don't know. What do you guys have anything to add to that at all? And let me play this. Let me just make it bigger. Take myself off the screen. We'll make this bigger, full screen. Let's just watch Mr. Escapee again. Just a little 5-footer. Look at that little dude. They made that wall the perfect size for that little dude. Just playing it through, guys. It's almost over. Ah, we'll put it smaller there. Just kind of play it there. Whoop, there. Put myself back on screen there. Put that on pause. Hold on. So that was just one sec. Okay. Actually, we'll stop him where he's climbing. That's what we'll do. There. Now we'll give it a little higher. There we go. On there. Crazy, eh? She's not live. Wait. We let our little Westie have bacon and a treat ice cream and her biggest desire chocolate before we took her down. Like our cat, which was Chrissy. Same thing. While we took her in this, because her jaw, and then from 1 month to she went downhill so fast. Because 1 minute you're like, we're not going to put her down because she looks just fine, and then a month later. But anyways, sorry to hear that, Ray, about your pit bull on there. Animals are like, animals and children are my very, very, very big soft spot, because animals, like I said, the two cats, they're just like our little children to us. So anyways, yeah, so like this dude is like 5 foot. He gets over that they said that the spacing was, well, it was obviously less than 5 feet. It was a little bit less than 5 feet, obviously, because he did have just a little bit extra room there. So I'm gonna hit stop screen to that. Share screen. Oh, where's this one right here? Okay, let me just go to it. Okay, so no, that's a little higher still. It was, let's see here. Take down that message. Well, like it wouldn't shock me though, right? Little dude skilling up like a little monkey up the trees. I personally wouldn't be shocked if he literally was, when he goes to bed or tries to get some rest, he's probably climbing up a freaking tree, and he's probably breaking some branches and covering himself with some, leaves, as he's probably trying to get some sleep in there. I mean, he's in like I said, it's like he's in that certain perimeter. So unless he escaped through their perimeter again, it's almost like he obviously doesn't seem to have social media. So Chandler Road was one, but there was another one after that I noticed that they didn't really talk about. But Chandler Road, 357 Chandler Road. I'll get back to that in a few minutes there. I'll show you the map again. But anyways, so as for okay, so let's just stop right here and go. So the school district Greenwood. Wait, that's the part I want. I want right here. So the crime that forced Danelo to flee his native Brazil took place in a public square in a city in the country's northern region. Okay, so Walter, I'm not even going to, okay, in the video, I tried to pronounce this the best that I could. I'm not going to do it here. It's just a tongue twister if you don't speak Portuguese or somewhat of Spanish there. So Walter, okay, that was it. I wasn't sure, but obviously shot in early in 2017, okay, inside of a cafeteria at close range. And then he stole his cell phone before fleeing the scene. Let's see here. So it says after the fatal shooting, Cavalcante traveled to Puerto Rico, where he obtained a fake ID. Prosecutors said from there he made his way to America, settled initially in Phoenixville area. Cavalcante entered the country illegally, according to investigators. 4 years later, of course. So 2017, so 18, 19, 20, 21, so 2021, he was arrested for taking the life of his ex-girlfriend, Deborah Brando, and in front of her children, nonetheless. So let's see. After news spread of Cavalcante's arrest, uh, the family of the person that he took the Walter's life there recognized him from his arrest photo in Chester County and notified authorities in Tonkatins. And let's see here. So right here last week. So right, and this is the article that I had seen yesterday, and that's why I made the video, because it said that he used a similar method to leaving the facility as another inmate who fled from it for a second time in May. A source said Tuesday, Danelo climbed on the roof of the building at the prison in Pocopson, it's Pocopson. From one of the facility's exercise yards, according to the source. So that's what we heard. Exactly that. So he ran across the roof, dropped down to a less secure area. I'm having a hard time, you guys, believing that that literally, okay, he took someone's life, and yet he's sitting there, and has the ability, like the freedom that he seems to have had, kind of amazing to me. I mean, obviously, like whoever was speaking there was talking about that he had like that they had someone come in and look and put razor whatever barbed wire stuff up, but they weren't thinking about the human part of it. That sure, it's all great to put that up there, but could a human still get past that barrier? I still don't know if you guys, I don't think any of you said that who the person was that was suspended. They'll make a video game of prison breaks now. Well, there's already a ton of those. So let's see here. So he does have family and friends out here, and that's why I said probably trying to head to his sister's. It seems like he's doing like a runaround. Like it doesn't seem like he does know direction. So I'm pretty sure like he has no sense of media whatsoever. That it's like he was circling. Let me just quickly see what else is on this. Resources, okay, boosting sizable efforts. Let's just see. I don't want to. Okay, so he was seen. So on that one video footage, you guys remember where they showed him kind of like facing backwards and then coming forwards, because he was someone talking about. So he was heading north at 8:21, and then he returned at 9:33, being caught on the same camera because he was coming back south there. So this, of course, is the pictures here of him going north and then coming back south. And yeah, I mean, dotted property. Okay, the Mr. Drummond was the guy whose home Ryan Drummond. That's one that heard the noise that other night and flicked the lights on and off. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna leave that, and I'm gonna go over to share screen. And we'll go back over to Nick over here. Let's hit refresh. Let's see where Nick's at. Okay, he was live. Okay, so he's not live yet, but anyways. So meaning he was, because he was at the press conference there asking questions. Hold on a sec. Okay, let's watch this. This is better footage. Okay, hold on. Let me just make it bigger. There we go. That's some better footage. Huh. I'll take myself off screen. Crazy, eh, guys? Right? This dude's on the lookout. He's going to be punished. Well, he should be. Look at the little dude. Hold on, I'm just going to capture a screenshot on there. And up he and away he goes. Okay, I'll turn off the sound though. On there. That's a nice clear picture though, isn't it? Thank you, Nick. Is that Nick? Was that Nick's footage on that? Yeah. Yeah, nice footage there. Oh, watch him for a second. Yeah, the other guy is, yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the press conference so and see, because I mean, obviously, the whoever was talking had said that like all the posts had somebody there. There was none vacant, he said. Look at that little monkey just going up there, eh? I mean, obviously, it looks really bad when you have an inmate that escapes, Igor, and then this guy escapes the same way. Yeah. Let's see here. Now, where? Let's see. One second here. I'm just gonna screen record for a second. Is my thing on? Come on. Come on, the little thing. Okay, sorry guys. I just wanted to screen record that for a second. Yeah, he's a regular little Spider-Man. What happened to prison outfits? Well, I mean, that orange one, he did have an orange one. Yeah, like this just looks like for someone that has taken somebody's life, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? That they're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna wear my runner shoes. Like he's just wearing what looks like just regular clothes. Just gonna minimize that for a sec. Hit refresh. See what's going on. So we saw that. We saw him ask the questions. I was trying to look for that. Trying to look for that map. That's the dispatch audio. You guys, in the description of this video.
For 182, a light-skinned male, underage with a beard, short hair, in a backpack with a dark green vehicle picked that male up right off of Route 1, possibly left southbound on 82. We give
Okay, so
03 a heads up as well. Command post already copied.
they said there was nothing to that one.
We'll give the state.
They said that there was nothing to that one. But anyways, the link for Nick on you and the dispatch, the scanner, is in the description of this video. I must have clicked on something because they had these, like, this is like the patches. So that one day it was 6143, but the other day, yesterday, it was like 65149. Let's take a look here. So, prison, nursing home. That's the gas station that the police, in the gas station part, the owner said, like, the basically the cops had taken over, like, that kind of like for their base, but like no compensation was given for basically the loss of the money that had happened during that time. So who knows on that. So this is kind of like the vicinity here. Residential roads at elevation. Just trying to see if I can see it on here. This wasn't the map I was looking at earlier. No, I think I must have clicked on something on one of the posts or something like that, and then somebody had put the map up of kind of like the area. Okay, but it was it off of this one? No, I don't think so. Okay, what's this one? Okay, so Nick was there, spotted on backyard security camera on the 2nd. This was on the 1st. And this was yesterday. So, oh wait, and then photographed by trail cam. So where's one? Where's number one? I don't see number one. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Brandywine, Ace Pet, and Farm. So they think that they have anyways him somewhere in this vicinity. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully they'll there we go. I mean, hopefully that they'll catch him today. That would be great. I feel really bad for all these people, like the father that Ryan Drummond, had said to his daughter, because like they were talking about the lock on the back door, and you guys know how those old things are. You just push them up and slide them over on those old sliding doors and stuff like that. And he said that him and his daughter were like having a conversation. And because of the fact that this guy's on the loose, and the father is like saying to her, oh, he's like long gone from here. We don't got to worry. And then he enters their house. Yeah, you take care, Miss Dog Lover. I'm going to head off here in a few minutes myself. I might come back and do a live again later on. I haven't decided yet, but I might do that. I'm going to, basically I'll be following Nick on Twitter when he goes, because he'll be going live again soon. Again, the description, he's at Nick the Hat on Twitter on there. And let's just quickly see. Let's just do a refresh. Because obviously he was at the press conference there. Yeah. Anyways, you guys. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to head off too, because my husband's going to be home in about 20 minutes time. I'll probably come on and do another live tonight. What is today? Wednesday? Deb, just quickly, don't forget Friday is Delphi night. Deb, can you by chance let me know if Ruckus wants to join us on that live on Friday? Can you ask him? I don't have his contact details or whatever, but so Delphi is Friday, and Fig said he was going to join us, of course. So Adam, myself, Deb, support with Stefa and Figgy, and it would be nice if CD comes out of the woodwork someday. Hey, CD Bud, if you ever watch this, miss you, bud. But yeah, other than that, I probably might do a live tonight. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, you guys, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for joining this live or whatever. And Ray, it's nice to see you, buddy. Deb obviously let you out of the freaking dungeon finally. And yeah, take care, Sharon. Yeah, high five, bro. Later, Gators. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this live. You guys take care. And if you guys haven't liked the video or the live, please give it a like, okay, guys? And who knows, maybe Adam will join tonight. We'll see what he's doing. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.